Yeah, and that does mean then Thom Yorke talks Atoms for Peace in the next half an hour after this, which is from the new album.
Look out of the window. What's passing you by? If you really want this, better know. You're young and good looking. The keys to the kingdom.
which opens the new Atoms for Peace album, Amok, and that's before your very eyes. And to talk us through the record, Thom Yorke, welcome to the programme.
Oh, Steve.
On a scale of 1 to 10, how does this rate in terms of how easy or difficult it was to make, if 10 is very hard?
1 to 10.
What's the most traumatic record you've ever been involved with? Is it still the Bends?
I think everyone has a messy point at some point in it. Maybe the Bends. Then again, there was a point in OK Computer, I think, where we mixing it. That was pretty traumatic as well. But no major trauma on this one.
I remember, I think we did an interview where, obviously, some years later, talking about the Bends. Was it you? It might have been Ed who said there was a point when you were making the Bends and you knew it was getting a bit weird when you started miking up a bit of cardboard in a bicycle wheel.
Yes.
So
no, but there was a few days like that, actually.
I mean, the weird thing was, as I was thinking about some of the times during the makings of your record where you've needed to challenge yourself, or maybe you've led yourself even down a tangent which might not have been that productive, it's still a little bit like what you're doing now, isn't it? I mean, pushing bits of, electronic card into a bicycle spoke is still essentially what you're doing with this record.
Yes, absolutely. That's what I thought when we were doing it. Yeah. pushing myself, pushing down a road, I suppose, yeah. Talking about all the old records and stuff, how it was sort of, we do bang our head against the wall and we do touch ourselves, whatever, but actually, I don't think it's any worse than probably movie directors and stuff, everybody goes a bit bonkers when you're trying to get somewhere and you're not got there yet and it's frustrating or whatever. This one was much more sort of, came out of enjoying just playing together with this new set of people and finding this different way of working and not having much to go on. I mean, the weird bit was like not really having a great deal of material, just little tiny bits to throw at them and what they made of that and then what we built from it. But that doesn't encompass the whole record. There's bits that were just more like ready to go than others, bits that felt like they were a continuation of the Razor, bits that didn't, and like this sort of clattery chaos and percussive thing and all sort of informed by electronic beats rather than people jamming or anything like that. And
but
I don't know.
Wasn't there a certain, because we should tell the story, I suppose. So
Yeah,
you need a band to play the Eraser. So did you have these people in mind?
Yes.
You did. Did you approach them?
Yeah.
I don't know, so have you got a little black book with everyone's numbers in?
Of course, yeah.
Have you?
Yeah. Yeah.
It's quite exciting.
I'm a networker, me.
So you actually sit down, black book, and put the calls in yourself and say...
Well, it was if Flea and Joey were into it, then I'd do it. And if they weren't, then I wouldn't.
And how did you broach the matter with somebody like Flea?
I just both sent them an email one Friday afternoon. They got back to me within a couple of hours, so it was on. That's kind of what I said to myself. If they get back to me today, then I'll do it.
So you rehearse, you play some gigs, and what was that like? The first time you walk out on a stage with a bunch of people that aren't the bunch of people that you usually play with?
Mental. It was mental. It was, where was it? The Echo Place in LA, and this place is so small. And we've been sort of rehearsing for weeks and having a really nice time, and it was really wicked, a good vibe, and then you walk on stage and it's like this bomb going off. It was really odd. It was just really loud and really exciting, and none of us really quite knew what the hell was going on, but it was like that for quite some time, really. We only did 2 shows then, and then we did a little tour after that. We're still sort of trying to keep it for kicks, really. But by the end of that, we, didn't have much material. Because we're kind of, unlike Radiohead, we were coming off like before an hour's worth going, that's all we got.
Did you ever succumb to the encore where you do one of them again?
No, we did do a jam once, which is against my religion. We just basically thought we need to sort of put something down, just stand in a room and carry on, doing whatever this thing is that we're enjoying doing, So that was it. And then we just sort of built from that. It's quite difficult to explain, but it just involved an awful lot of playing with Nigel and I sort of trying to direct in some way or other.
I'm trying to imagine if I was in your shoes, because by this point I'd know all the nuances of my band. I know exactly how to wind, the members of Radiohead up. I can see exactly if they're having a good gig or a bad gig. Now you've got a whole new bunch of characters that you don't even know, strangers on stage almost. Yes, it's very odd, but at the same time, I guess by that point, yes, there was sort of something sort of happened between us. So you booked the studio, and you have, 3 days then to do whatever it is, and I've got written down here, because I hate this word as well, what did you do? Go and jam in a studio?
No. As I said, it is against my religion. But at the same time, you know, we're sort of free-forming off ideas that I had. It's sort of starting deliberately from an electronic beat, so you're imitating something that's mechanical and then seeing what happens when they go with it.
Did you have any lyrical ideas at this point, or was there can you feel an album welling up inside you?
You can feel when it's finished, because you'll have a period where everything seems like it's up in the air, and lots of things are possible, and any of them could be all right, lyrically as much as musically. And then there comes a point where that sort of stops, like the wind's dropped, or whatever. Things are settling, and they stop being able to be moved. And that works with the lyrics as much as anything. In fact, with the lyrics with this, I'm always been obsessed by the way David Byrne did Remain in Light, and that sort of speaking in tongues thing that Michael Stipe has always done. And that's always been my big hang-up. And with this one, I tried not to pin down anything I was doing, just let it settle as the music was doing, you know what I mean? So I wasn't analysing it at all.
But with this music, was it unlocking something that you didn't know was there, or was it, beginning? Did it give you the key to certain moods, maybe, or thoughts?
Oh yeah, no, it's definitely unlocking something I didn't know was there, because on one hand I'm working with a completely different bunch of people, and on the other hand it's a completely different method of writing, because I was coming to the studio with very little.
We'll talk more in a second, but let's have another track from the album, and this is called Dropped.
It's late.